Hello, everyone, and I want to personally thank you for purchasing this project. If you are anything like me, you know your students need time to reflect and record their data. And I have personally enjoyed using this binder in my classroom for the past 2 years, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is walk you through how you can use this data binder with your ELL and give you some samples of how you can use it. Now, the first thing first is that I want you to do is that right here at the top are our data binder tabs. And you can see that each tab is for each section of the binder. So you have a tab for goals, targets, tracker, data, and reflect. One of the things that I did this school year was that I actually printed these out and laminated them and had my students just glue them or tape them in their data binder. You do not have to do that. You can just print them on preferably cardstock paper because the students are going to be flipping through the binder and you do want them to last. So just putting that out there for you. The next thing that we have in the data binder is an example of our section. So in this example, you can see here is that this is the section, and on the top of the section here, you want your students to cut out the tabs and place them on that section. That way, the students can easily locate the tabs on the sections. Also, each section has an inspirational quote just to motivate them as well. Now, the next section that we have available here is the SMART goals. Now, this is where I have the students review their data, usually their language assessment for the previous year at the beginning of the year, and I have them set SMART goals around each domain. In this example, you have a listening domain, and I do this at the beginning of the school year. So you can do this quarterly, you can do this weekly, you can modify it however you want to modify it for your classroom. But I do suggest that you definitely have the students at the beginning of the year review their data from the previous year and set a goal for this upcoming school year. Now, here, my state is a WIDA state, but you can easily edit this title if you are, an ELPA. I know Texas has one as well. So if you're a different state, you can easily edit the title. I'm just using this one because our state is a WIDA state. So one of the things that I have the students do is I have them review their language assessment data, and I have them record their scores from the previous year. So this is from 2018. So the students had their data from 2018. And then I had them record their data from 2019 this school year. And then I had them set a goal based on that data for the upcoming assessment. Now, what I'm going to do this year before they take the assessment is have them go back to this and review their goal and reflect and come up with some ways that they can plan and draft their strategies for this upcoming school year. Now, here is the literacy and reading. Now, that is where you do the reading and writing score. They're averaged together. Now, ours already come that way, but you can have your students do that as well. And then I have them graph their overall score and set their overall goal for the year. The next thing you see here is them actually graphing it. So, of course, I have them do color pencils, and I actually have them graph their scores that they just did on the previous page. Some students, of course, as we know, are visual learners, and it's really helpful for them to see their growth over the year. Now, we are going to the level of understanding in the goal setting chart. Now, in this particular chart, this is something that I do daily with my students. Now, I take a learning target. You can do a language objective. You can do a content objective. Keep in mind, you can modify it for how you do it for your classroom. I do my learning targets based on the content objectives. So one of the ways that I do this is that I have the students write the learning goal with the standard. I already, like I said, this is editable, so you can print them out. That's one thing I do is I just print out all the learning targets for my students, put them in their binder, but you can have them write it as well. And then I have them use the level of understanding chart to have them rate themselves. I use an emoji chart that is included in this data binder, and I have them rate themselves 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I have them dated. And I love for them to do this to see their progress over time. One cool thing that my students do this year is that they've actually been doing it in increments. Last year, my students just did 1, 2, 3, or 4. But this year, I noticed my students saying, Miss Williams, I'm a 2.3 or I'm a 2.7. So I want to encourage you, if your students are open to doing it, do that with them as well. Now, this is the overview of the data binder. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to email me at millie@myadventuresinESL.com. Of course, you can always leave a question in my Teacher Pay Teacher store, myadventuresinESL.com. I personally hope you enjoyed this binder. And once again, thank you for purchasing, and you have a great, great week.